Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavabhai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Anybody left behind? Everybody come? Oh, why do I need this? I don't know why I carry this on me. Anyway. You know, it's interesting. Last time, you remember, I used to use glasses to read. Suddenly they have gone. I mean, I don't need them. I didn't do anything. I swear I did. No detox, no, no intermittent fasting, no nothing. It just happened that I don't need them now. Maybe there's more light, I don't know. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of the... I wanted to read something interesting. Oh God, where? No. Okay, let's go to the Chandogya. I wanted to read to you something. Does anybody know where sorry, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Okay, we go to the Chandogya Upanishad. Now, section 10 of the Chandogya Upanishad is trying to describe the same Brahman we were talking about, of the Supreme Being. And it says, Imaha saumya nadya purastat prachyaha syandante paschat prat... Okay. These rivers, my dear, is the student. These rivers, my dear, flow the eastern part towards the east, the west ones towards the west. They go just from sea to sea and then they flow into the sea. Just as these rivers, while there in the east and the west and the north, do not note, I am this one, I am the ocean into which all of them flow and all of them originate from. One of the descriptions of the Brahman in the Chandogya Upanishad. Just as the rivers that flow in the east, in the west, in the north, in the south, originate from the sea and river go back into the sea, in the same way, these rivers don't seem to know that I am the sea into which they all flow and out of which they come out. In the same manner, my dear, all these creatures, even though they come forth from being, real being, be in capital, B-E-I-N-G, being, do not know that we have come forth from that being. Whatever they are in this world, tiger or lion or wolf or boar or worm or fly or gnat or mosquito, they all come from me, though they don't know. but many different gradations of creatures, even though they are graded up to humans. They all come from the same source, which is the being. Even the mosquito has its own small being. So does the fly. So does everything else. So there is only one being which is present in all creatures, including humans. Sa esho anima aitat atmyam idam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tat tvam asi Śvetaketu. Śvetaketu is being taught. Śvetaketu is the student who is addressed as my dear. So, my dear Śvetaketu, that which is the subtle essence, this whole world has as itself the same essence. That is true, that is the self, and you are that. So, the Mahavakya, Tat Tvam Asi, appears in the Chandogya. So, O Śvetaketu, you are that. That is the self, thou art that. Then Śvetaketu says, please, Venerable Sir, instruct me still further. I haven't understood. So be it, my dear, said he. Asya saumya mahato vrikshasya yo mule abhyahanyat jivan shravet yo madhye abhyahanyat jivan shravet yo agre abhyahanyat jivan shravet sa esha jivanena atmanu prabhutaha peppiyamano modhamanas tishtati. Oh, says the teacher to Śvetaketu, of this mighty tree, my dear, if someone should strike at the root, it would bleed, but it would still live. If someone should strike at the middle, it would bleed, but it would still live. If someone should strike at the top, it would bleed, but it would still live. Being pervaded by its living self, it stands firm, drinking in its moisture and rejoicing. He's saying it's like that Brahman, like this huge tree that stands before you. You cut the leaves, they will grow back. You cut it in the middle, it will bleed sap, and so on. But it is that tree which is the sustenance of everything. If you cut the leaves, if you cut the branch, the tree won't fall, it's still the same tree. New beings will come, like new leaves growing. Understand this, O Śvetaketu. Now, if life leaves one branch, then that branch dries up. If it leaves a second branch, the second branch dries up. If it leaves a third branch, the third branch dries up. If it leaves the whole tree dries up. Even so, indeed, my dear, understand that when life has left the body, the whole thing is dried up. As long as life is there, it remains alive. And that life is not the tree, but the energy inside the tree. I hope Śvetaketu understood. Verily, indeed, this body dies. Jivapetham vava kilidam mriyate. This body dies when deprived of the living self. And the living self does not die. That which is the subtle essence of the whole world is that own supreme oneself. That is the truth, That is the self, and you are that, oh Śvetaketu. Śvetaketu says, after hearing that, please, Venerable Sir, instruct me still further. So be it, my dear. It's interesting. Now, the person who is teaching Śvetaketu is none other than his own father, Uddālaka Āruṇi. Śvetaketu is his own son. So it starts in section 8 by saying, learn from me, my dear, the true nature of sleep. When a person hears sleep, as it is called, then, my dear, he has reached pure being. So what is the aim of life? To reach pure being. So what is the aim of life? To sleep. He has gone to his own essence in sleep. Therefore they say he sleeps, for he has gone to his own. Now if there was some way by which in that deep sleep one would be aware, then one has reached the self. Unfortunately, one is not aware. Which is why everybody wants to sleep. No, seriously. But deep down we all know that in Suṣupti, in deep sleep, all problems are resolved. Everything is over and we are blissfully in our original state. But we know that only when we wake up, that, oh, we were in a blissful sleep. While we are in Suṣupti, we don't know. Think of a state where in Suṣupti I wake up and say, that is the self. Not possible. Or is it possible? It is possible. According to the teachings, when the mind has no other desire, all desires have evaporated. Seeing the futility of having desires, difficult to see the futility. One goes, we always think, oh, that's gone, another one will happen, and so on. But, and ultimately, we are like the tree whose roots have been cut. In the end, when one has fully seen that, well, one is fully alive. Not when one is asleep. Then you can't think, right? And then, therefore, one doesn't have anything to do with it and is free of it. He has neither friends nor enemies. When this happens, they say, I'm repeating what the Rishi said, they say, Iti Śuṣruma Purvesham, so said the ancients. Then, in deep sleep, one is not in deep sleep, but in turiya. Otherwise, we are all in Suṣupti. Why? Because we know that there is a thing, we don't know, but deep down the mind knows that the border between Suṣupti, deep sleep, and turiya is very thin, the borderline. Somewhere the mind realizes this, so it wants to sleep. Especially when it is listening to the Upanishad. The bliss of the Upanishad. But a yogi, when I say yogi, somebody who has touched this, whose mind is free of all desire, who is free of all jumpings of the mind, goes into deep sleep. That is no longer a deep sleep, it is turiya. But even in deep sleep, actually, whether you know it or not, you are in your true self, which is the all-pervading supreme self, not this little self. Which is why in deep sleep you not think of your little self. And therefore you are neither thinking of your friends nor your enemies. You are in the supreme original state, and everybody has it. It's not, nobody is deprived of it. Many people are deprived of sleep, mainly because of confusion and contradictions and desires being not fulfilled and so on and so forth. But this is about natural sleep, not drug-induced sleep. I really don't know the chemical process of what drug-induced sleep is. I don't know. They're talking about normal sleep. I think in drug-induced sleep you don't touch the self. I don't know. Anyway, so Uddālaka Āruṇi is teaching Śvetaketu. So Śvetaketu, after hearing this, says, please teach me further about this. At least he is honest enough to know that he has not understood. Therefore I need to know. Then, near them is a banyan tree, a Nayagrodha tree. So, Uddālaka Āruṇi says to Śvetaketu, "O Śvetaketu, bring me a fruit from that Nayagrodha tree, from the banyan tree." Śvetaketu is very quick to respond. He doesn't say, "I was asking you to teach me the Brahman, why do you want a fruit from the tree?" Being an obedient disciple, he goes immediately and brings the fruit. Here it is, "Venerable Sir." He says, "Break it." "It is broken, Venerable Sir." Not, "Why should I break it?" Bring the fruit, bought it. Break it, here it is broken. What do you see there? There are extremely small seeds inside. Venerable Sir. Calling his own father, Venerable Sir. Of these little seeds that you see, break them. Break one. Only to say it, "It is broken, sir." What do you see there? Kim atra pashyasti, what do you see there after breaking that? Na kimchana bhagava iti. "Oh sir, I don't see anything here. Till now I saw. I brought the fruit. I broke it. I saw those little seeds there. You said break one seed. I broke it. Now you are saying, what do you see? I don't see anything. Nothing at all, Venerable Sir." Tamho vacha yamvai. Then he said to him, "My dear Śvetaketu, that subtle essence which you do not perceive, my dear, from that very essence this whole Nayagrodha tree has come. Believe me, my dear, this entire banyan tree has come from that which you said nothing is there. I can't see a thing. And it is the essence of the seed. It is from which this whole tree has come. And you say you see nothing. It is that nothing which is the essence of this something. Which is why the Upanishad teaching goes so close sometimes to the Buddhist theory of shunya. Only things that the Vedantin use the word purna, completeness, while they use the word shunya. Shunya is not nothing. It means no thing. What you cannot observe with your eyes or your senses or even with your mind. When that is seen, that is the essence of your being. And it is from this that this whole universe has sprung. Tat Tvam Asi, Śvetaketu, that you are Śvetaketu, not this little fellow, that you are sitting before me, calling me sire, and so on. That which is the subtle essence. This whole world has for itself. That is the truth. That is the self. That you are Śvetaketu. But Śvetaketu is not satisfied. Please, Venerable Sir, instruct me still further. So be it, says Uddālaka. So you see how it goes. Now, session 13. Place this salt in the water. Lavanam etat utkevadaya. Place this salt in the water. And come and see me in the morning. This is how the Upanishads are taught. Not by saying, this is what it is, you believe me. No. There's a bowl of water, place this salt in the water. Come and see me in the morning. Then he did so. He placed the salt and went away and came back in the morning. Then he said to him, that salt you placed in the water last evening, please bring it to me. Having looked for it and not finding any salt, because it was completely dissolved, then says the teacher, please take a sip of it from this end. How is it? Salt. Take a sip of it from the middle. How is it? Salt. Take a sip from the other end. How is it? Salt. Throw it away and come and see me. He threw it away and went to see him. He did so. It's always the same. Then he said to him, really indeed, my dear, you do not perceive pure being here, but it is there in the end, in the beginning and in the middle. Like the salt that is dissolved in the water uniformly, is there everywhere, though you don't see it. And that is the self. And thou art that. Then Śvetaketu said, sir, please instruct me further. Yata saumya purusham. So, Uddālaka Āruṇi continues his instructions. He says, just as, my dear, one might lead a person away from the Gandharas with his eyes bandaged and abandon him in a place where there are no human beings, and just as that person would shout towards the east, towards the west, towards the north, I have been led here with my eyes bandaged. I have been left here with my eyes bandaged. Story, illustration. Suppose there is the land of Gandharas. You know Gandharas? The demigods, semi-gods who sing songs and dance in the Gandharvas. You are led in this land of the Gandharvas. with your eyes bandaged and abandoned in a place where there are no human beings. That person would start shouting right, left, north, south, everywhere, saying, I have been left here with my eyes bandaged. I have been left here with my eyes bandaged. And as if one released this bandage, suppose somebody comes in and releases the bandage and told him, in that direction are the Gandharas, go in that direction. Thereupon, being informed and capable of judgment, he would, by asking his way from village to village, arrive at Gandhara. In exactly the same way, does one here who has a teacher know, I shall remain here only so long as I shall not be released. Then I shall reach perfection. What he's trying to say is, we are all generally like a person whose eyes are bandaged and left in the land of the Gandharas, close to the land of the Gandharas. I want to go there, but I'm left there. And I'm shouting, my eyes are bandaged, I'm left here, please show me how to go there. And one person comes there. He removes the bandage and says, this is the direction. Then you seek the direction because your eyes have been unbandaged and therefore you move towards it. This person who removes the bandage is the teacher. Then, after the bandage is removed, you then can inquire and find the village. That is you. Or if you are the teacher, that is me. The illustration is to show that it is important for someone to tell you which direction you have to go, and also to open the bandages which tie your eyes, so that you can scream left, right and center, but nobody is going to show you where Gandhara is. So now, does the teacher show you the place, Gandhara? No. The teacher unties the bandage. Then you go from village to village, you seek and you find. He says, go in this direction. He says, yes, go in this direction. He doesn't catch you by hand and take you to Gandhara. But it is ready. It is necessary that the bandage is removed. The whole teaching is the removing of the bandage, that's all. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Like Śvetaketu, so please explain further. That which is the subtle essence in this whole world has that as itself. That is the truth, that is the self, that thou art, Śvetaketu. Tat Sa Atma Tat Tvam Asi Śvetaketu. Iti bhuyayavama bhagavan Vijñāpa iti tatha saumya iti ho vacha. Please, O Honorable Sir, instruct me still further. So be it, my dear, he said. Śvetaketu is not tired of asking, and Uddālaka is not tired of answering. Because Śvetaketu, for the time being, the bandage is too tight. You have to be careful. When you surgically remove a bandage, how careful you have to be, especially if it's around the eyes. Though you may lose your eyes. Carefully. Also, my dear, Purusham Saumya, Saumya means my dear, loved one. purusham saumya utopatapinam jnataya paryupasate jnanasimamiti tasyavan navan manasi samvadatye manaha prane pranaha tejasi tejaha parasyam devatayam tavat janati. Also, my dear, further instruction, around the sick and dying person, his relatives gather and ask, do you know me? You know, when person is dying, they think maybe he's already lost. So they go around, Amma, I am your daughter, do you know me? So, do you know me? Do you know me? So long as his voice is not merged in the mind, and the mind in the breath, and the breath in heat, and heat in the highest deity, till then he says, yes, yes, I know you. And that is gone. Then when his voice is merged in the mind, his mind in the heat, and the heat in the highest deity, he does not know them, who they are. This heat is interesting, the mention of tapa, heat. Actually, tapas is from heat, tapa. Tapa means heat. When a doctor certifies a person who is dead, of course the pulse stops and the heartbeat stops, but then he checks for the heat in the solar plexus in the head, and if it is cold, then he is gone. This is 2000 years old. And when the heat is gone, he is gone. He doesn't recognize anybody. All relations, everybody are left here, we are gone. That which is the subtle essence of this whole world has for is the true self. That is the true self. It has no relatives. That is the self. Thou art that, O Śvetaketu. Honorable Sir, instruct me further. Also, my dear, they lead up a man seized by the hand, saying he has stolen, he has committed a theft. Heat the axe for him. If he is the doer, if he has committed the theft, then he makes himself a liar. Being given to untruth, covering himself by untruth, he takes hold of the axe and is burnt. There was an ancient way of testing if a person has told a lie. Heat an axe and ask him, do you tell the truth? Or if he holds the axe and if he feels the heat and is burnt and he dies, that means he is a liar. The one who has said the truth can hold the axe and he is neither burned nor does he die. Don't try it now. But if he is not the doer, thereupon he makes himself true, being given to truth, covering himself by truth, he takes hold of the heated axe and is not burnt. Then he is released. Otherwise he is imprisoned. And as in this case, he would not be burnt. Thus has all this for its own self, because the self is not burnt or injured. The self has no truth, has no lies. This is the self. And that you are, O Śvetaketu. Then he understood it from him. At last, tad hasya vijñāna iti vijñānaviti. Then he understood it for himself. Because it was referred to with an experiment where he said, if you speak untruth, you are burnt. and if you speak the truth, you're unburnt. So now, enough of the Upanishad for this session. We have around 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So if you want to pretend to be Śvetaketu, then I will pretend to be Uddālaka Āruṇi. And then we can. But you must be as obedient and nice as Śvetaketu. The moment I say, bring the fruit, you should not. From where? Go and bring. Then it works. So what fruit? I don't see fruit here. You're asking for a fruit. Where do I get? Get one fruit. I mean, anyway, don't. I'm not going to ask you. So yes, put up your hand.
What do you experience during deep sleep? You personally.
What do I what?
Experience.
What do I experience? About what? Hey, madam, we are doing the Upanishads. What did I mention?
You're talking about when you reach that turiya, so when you're in deep sleep, you are aware. So I wanted a person.
Oh, that you want.
Yes.
Well, this is not an invitation to sleep, okay?
No.
No, by yourself. What I mean is, don't think that through sleeping you will attain. That's what I meant. But when I sleep, or when this M sleeps, that sleep is I don't think I should discuss this. Because if I discuss this, I'm going to claim that I have touched Suṣupti. And if I claim I have touched Suṣupti, then I become like Agni. But the fact is, for me, this person that you see here, there is no difference between Suṣupti and turiya. But even Jagrata is not different. Jagrata is what? The waking state. That is also not different. Dream, not different. Now this is tall order. Dream is the same, deep sleep is the same, waking state is the same. So at this moment, if you think I am in the Jagrata Avastha, well, I am in a way, but actually not. There is an inner stream of tranquility. Why do you ask? This is all being recorded, God.
Answer it another time.
This is, please. Actually I'm free, let's put it that way. Because people will listen to this and try to imitate it, It doesn't work through it. Like that, you go to sleep, you'll say, in this sleep I should get turiya. It doesn't work, right? When your attachments and your, things that hold you down to this earth, they have loosened their grip, and then this happens. Till then it's too much to expect. Unless you are such a firm student that you say, I am only the self and nothing else, and keep working on that, maybe it's possible. I won't say it's impossible, because then the whole thing is futile. Although the Upanishad says, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhya, but it also says, Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya. One who does not have strength cannot find the self. Strength obviously doesn't mean physical strength. Mind, that is, one is one-pointed. No matter, one does not accept defeat of any kind and plows ahead. That is the meaning of balahinena labhya. Bala is essential, strength is essential. Now, since you asked me this question, it's not as if when you discover it, you don't see the world. You actually see the world as it is, not what you think it is. And therefore, the wildflowers are as beautiful and as live, or maybe better than you can see them. It's not that once you do that, your eyes are closed. Everything becomes alive. But everything is the same, it's not different. It's not as if you touch that, you can't enjoy your food. It's not like that. Except when you enjoy your food, you know who's enjoying the food. That difference. Yes, sir. Somewhere, it's up to you.
Sir, you mentioned about the five indriyas, Agni and all going to. So, within our body also we have Vayu, Agni, we have the Indris.
Absolutely.
And the Shakti, Parvati Ma is there. The question is going to sound weird, but how do we get all of these things to listen to Ma Parvati and then become close to Brahman that's inside?
Only in this Upanishad, Parvati is mentioned, not in all. So there are other ways of doing it also. It's not as if you should go only through that. That's true. But you're right. The Agni and the Vayu and the Indriyas which have been mentioned are not only in the external world, they're also in us. That point is correct. We have digestive fire, fire of desire, and we also have Vayu, which is the breath, life breath without which we cannot survive. And it is the same Vayu, Prana, Apana, Udana, and so on. These are the different Vayus or Pranas in us. It's also the Vayu that makes us relaxed when we let go. Tena tyaktena bhanjita. I sometimes think man's major problem is we have been told not to make noise in public. So this is all built up here. And then it becomes tension. I think you shouldn't look at anybody, let go. Vayu is also in us. Animals don't care. So, all this is in us. The message of the story here is that as long as you know that all these, the essence of all these and the energy provided for all this comes from one center, which is the self. Parvati has already told it in the Upanishad, so one doesn't have one's own Parvati to tell it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you also have the second part of the question, which the Shaktas and the Tantrics believe, that it's easier to approach the Supreme Brahman through Shakti. The Tantra yogis also believe that. So they do methods of how to ignite and arouse the Shakti, so that when the wisdom opens up, you're in touch with the Supreme Being. That's also there. So what is your question?
How do we touch the Brahman?
So, see, there are many ways of doing. The thing is to fully understand that it's not an effort that you make that it makes it possible. that it happens when your mind is effortless. But it will not happen that way because we always tend to think, I'll do this or I'll do that, then it will happen. Finally, one day you'll realize what you need is total effortlessness. And this total effortlessness can last in the midst of all action. Then it becomes karma yoga. When this happens, then it reveals itself. All that you're doing is only preparing the ground. Rather, you're plowing the field and putting your fertilizers and getting everything ready, and then the rain comes. That also you can't control, at least in India. The rain comes, and then now the seeds sprout. You are not making the seeds sprout. You are only preparing the soil and the ground for the seed to sprout. You cannot ask the seed to sprout. You can only keep it ready for it to sprout. So if you have that attitude, then you can practice Tantra, you can practice Yoga, you can practice Vedanta, pure Vedanta, whatever you want, or Bhakti. But this should be foremost in your mind, that you're only preparing the ground and leaving it to that being to appear or manifest, not appear. That attitude should be added to every sadhana that one does. Then one remains free. My understanding is that when it happens, it's there everywhere, always, doesn't come and go. If it comes and goes, then it is not that. Like today, I feel the Brahman. Tomorrow, I don't. No, this is not possible. Once done, it's done. How? Because it is the essence of everything. And please don't think it is difficult. It may be fairly simple, but we like to complicate it. And you know why? Most of the complication is because of a fear that we may let go of familiar things and go into an unknown, unfamiliar territory. This is the greatest of fear. Because I know how to enjoy my Coke, or whatever, or I know how to enjoy. But this is something I don't know. So why would I give this up and go there? Then you should think so many people must have touched it. So much literature is there, so there must be something. At least give it benefit of doubt. Not you, I'm just saying. Since you asked the question, it's a good chance to talk to everybody. So it may be so simple. Don't make it so complicated. What happens if you attain it? Do you suddenly grow curls or jata in your head? Nothing. You may be wearing the same t-shirt and walking around, and you might be a realized soul. How do I know? You will know. Incidentally, if you suddenly want to have matted locks, it's very easy. In villages they fool you. I think yesterday was all right, today morning I woke up, I had locks. In banyan tree, you know the banyan tree? Just take a little sap from the banyan tree, okay? Rub it into your hair and take a dip. Immediately take a dip in the water. You will come out with matted hair. It's not a miracle. The greatest miracle is to change the human being, to make the human mind understand that one needs to calm down, be tranquil, and see that in the essence of one's being, there is the whole world. And if in the essence of your being there's the whole world, what do you want? Nothing. Yeah, when your body is alive, you need food and all that. I understand. Primary. You know what? There was a man called Napoleon Hill. This generation may not know, but the older generation. My grandfather used to always carry a copy of Napoleon Hill's a book called Think and Grow Rich. And he always used to put it in a place where I would see it, because he thought I was going nuts, so he wanted me to see what's going on. So he always used to say, forget all this nonsense, make money. He was a stockbroker and all that. So finally I said, let me read it. So I read it. Many years later, I got a copy. I said, what is this that my grandfather carried always? And he thought he was a successful man. That's okay, up to him. And one day I read it. He only gives some tips on how to save money, how to... He's right in a way. He says, if you have a sankalpa, then it will become a reality, which is quite yogic in its essence. But then after a while I saw another book written by him when he became old. And that book says that richness is more with the mind than with how much money you have in the bank. That busts the myth, kind of. Because very late in life he realized if you're how much money you have, you're still in trouble. It is the mind that matters. So that is important to understand. Then I read, he used to have another book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, Dale Carnegie. That was good. I mean, it said, why do you unnecessarily worry, carry on with it, that's fine. But then Dale Carnegie wrote a second book which is horrible. If you read that book, you become an artificial human being altogether. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People, in which his primary concern is that if you want to make friends with somebody, then you should see what that person is interested and pretend to be interested in that. What kind of an original human being are you? He also says, even if you look at a person, you actually want to tell him, hey, shit, instead you smile and say, how nice. I think the guy who says shit is better than the guy who smiles, how nice, because it's artificial. He really thinks it is not. Right? So, like that. Should I write a book? How not to win friends and influence. Hanji, boli. People don't like? Criticism. So that is bad. If you don't like criticism, that means either you are hiding something, or you think you're too big and you don't want to be pulled down. When you have nothing, where will you go? Suppose I say, I'm already down, man, where will you pull me down? Right? That's the attitude to take. And of course, I'm not saying that if you see somebody and you want to call him an idiot, I'm not saying do that. At least just keep quiet. Don't say you're the greatest being on earth. Just keep quiet and listen, because it may have dangerous consequences. In this world, what Carnegie says is true. People don't like when a mirror is shown. Now the biggest problem is, according to the Sufis, a teacher is one who polishes the mirror and shows it and says, this is how you actually are. Because if you don't know where you are or what you actually are, you can't move forward, right? Now that becomes a terrible thing, because nobody wants to look at the mirror. They like to see a mirror which either, you know what. Half the job is done if you see. Because from then you'll take off and say how to move. We don't want to move, so it's all swept under the rug. It's 12 o'clock, sir. We can do it when I come back, if you don't mind.